Hi guys, Macman here. So out in the loading room today, I was loading up some 9mm yesterday on the 650 and I actually ran out of brass. So there's a bunch in there that I used and I loaded up with 124 grain extremes round nose, and with that batch I was using a new powder I haven't tried for pistols before. I'm going to try it with zip. I loaded up a few test rounds a week or so ago and they worked fine, so I loaded up a big batch of them. And I got a batch over here that I loaded up first, and these were made up with HP 38s. And I ran out of brass, so I got box loads of brass all cleaned, ready to go. But being I've got my 1050 set up for processing brass, I find it a lot easier on the arm if I process the brass first. So I decap it, size it, and just flare the necks just a little bit on the 1050. And I'll get that running so you can see. But I like to process my brass first, get it all decapped, sized, then I clean it, chuck it in the 650, and it's so much easier to load. So what I like to do is I always like to lube them. So I got this old plastic tub and my go-to is the Dillon case lube, and all I do is I just lay a few in the bottom of the pan and then a few squirts, toss them around a bit, and that's it. They're done, ready to go. So I can drop them in the hopper and they'll be ready to go. Let me put the camera on the stand and let's get back to it. Okay guys, so I got you can see the tube is all nice and full. Everything's ready to go, so I'm going to run this, and I'm going to run it at the slowest setting to start with. So I just hit run and off it goes. So in the first station you can see it's actually popping the primer out. I'm getting a little bit on that. The first station is just popping the primer out. It goes round, and on this back station here I've got my Dillon carbide sizing die. Just going through and sizing them. And then on the last station here, this is just putting a slight flare on it. Now I can see that it's running nice, everything seems to be going perfectly. We can start to speed it up. So that's 1,000 rounds per hour. That's now running at 1,500 rounds per hour. Still everything's good, everything's fine, so let's take it up next step. That's 2,000 rounds an hour. Take it up 2,500 rounds per hour. Still working nice, no problem at all. Oh, there's a dead case there. I can stop it. I noticed as it was going around there was a case that hadn't lined up, so you can just hit stop button on the machine, get it pulled out while it's safe. There it is. So that one was a 380 case mixed in with a 9mm, so it just popped it out. So get rid of that. I can clear this again and run. Okay. So now it's running at 2,500 rounds per minute, and I can step this up to 3,000. And then I can just sit and let this run, guys. You can see it's just going through. Popping the primer, sizing, a little bit of flare. And if I want to stop this, I just hit end cycle. It'll end after the cycle. Let's pull one of these out. So, the case gauge. You can see it's dropping, they're dropping perfectly into the case gauge. They're deprimed. Sorry, get this out here a little bit so I can see. So they're deprimed, they fit in the case gauge perfect. Let's pull out another one and try. It's again dropped straight into it, deprimed, perfect. And all I've got is about maybe a couple of thou of, it's just expanded the necks just a little bit. So when I drop my bullet in there, it just goes in. I'll still be putting a slight flare on these once they go through the dillon 650 in the powder measure. They flare them a little bit, but this has just opened up the neck just a touch, just to accept the bullets. Okay, so you can see they're working perfectly. All I need to do now is set at 3000, hit run again, and off it goes. So I was free. Basically I just stand, watch the machine, you can carry on with something else, and just let it do its job. Just got to keep the hopper nice and full. And all I'm going to do now is just, once I've cleared all this brass, chuck it in the tumbler for an hour just to clear the lube and things off it, give them a shine again, and we're ready to go. And it makes it so much easier when I load on my 650, because even everybody says 9mm is easier to load. Some of them cases, they take some size in. By doing this, I just let the 1050 do all the hard work. And when I'm loading up, I don't need to put my deprimer and sizer in the first station, because they're already done. And I can just fly through doing the reloads as well. Cool, I'm going to let that run for guys. And once it's finished, we'll come back. So guys, this has been running probably for about 20 to 30 minutes, and you can see it's pretty much filled the pot, just running through. So I actually raised it up to 3500. It's just processing brass. Sometimes it stops and bangs, so we need to clear this, try and joggle up to make sure it's at its highest point. So that's its highest point, and then you need to check. Then you can see this one didn't quite seat in the right place and it is jammed. Pretty tight in there. So what I need to do is sort of try and knock this back just a touch to try and get the pin out, because this one is not sitting quite right and it's jammed. Okay, so there. So I can just pull that one out, put the pin back in. So this one didn't actually go in properly, so whether it's just didn't line up or there might be something wrong, so I just throw that in my brass trash to get rid of it. Hit run again, and there you go, you're back up running. So there you go guys, that's what it looks like when it's running. Pretty neat. Probably done 1,000 or so rounds. Just going to finish these last few off, drop them in the cleaner, and we'll be good to go. If you like these videos guys, please like, share and subscribe. And if you want to leave a comment in the bottom, please leave a comment. I'll try and answer them all for you, and we'll catch you on the next.